afternoon, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for a Puckle with Jo. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you out there. Matt, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for the nice wishes. Now, we got 3 games on the ice, and last night we cashed some nice bets out there. Tonight's games, we have the Florida Panthers taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins, the San Jose Sharks taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Playing their first game, by the way, for the San Jose Sharks since the All-Star break. And we also have the Minnesota Wild taking on the Arizona Coyotes. So we're going to kick off with the first game here. I'm going to start with the San Jose Sharks taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Now, the San Jose Sharks coming in as a big underdog. They're plus 340 on the money line. We got a total of 5.5. Minus 110 to the over or under in this one. Minus 450 here if you like the Winnipeg Jets. Now, laying the puck line in the first or in the full game, laying 1.5 is minus 162. I am looking for the puck line in the first period for the Winnipeg Jets. The puck line in the first period, you're getting more value. Laying the half of goals coming in at minus 106. And I do think this is the right way to go with this game. Connor Hellebuyck is expected in net tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. He's got a 2.19 goals against average, a 9.25 save percentage. And looking here at the San Jose Sharks, they will be starting Hokanen here in net. He's got a 3.55. And with the teams playing their first game back, we saw all of these teams coming back out of the All-Star break with some struggles offensively to start that first and second period. So I do think the Winnipeg Jets in the first period to come out nice and strong makes sense in this one. Now, looking at them on the puck line for the full game, I'm not sure I'm buying completely on it. They're 0-4 on that puck line in their last 4 in the first period. I'm looking at Kyle Connor to be able to come out strong and be able to get that anytime goal. I do think the Winnipeg Jets capitalize on the Sharks team that has had struggles defensively over the season and do struggle to put up those goals. So I'm looking for Winnipeg to find the back of Kokanen's net. Kyle Connor plus 125 for the anytime goal. And then you got to look at Monahan here, the center that was taken by from Montreal to Winnipeg. I think he's made such an impact since he's been back. He's plus 250. But looking at this game, I've got to take the under 5.5. The under 5.5 coming in at minus 110. I think this is a really solid way to look at this game. As long as the Winnipeg Jets don't get 5 goals on their own, I think this one goes under that total. So give me the Winnipeg Jets here, first period puck line, and the under 5.5 for this one with Kyle Connor and Monahan to be able to get the goal. Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you for the kind wishes and being here today. It's fantastic to have you guys here each and every day. So thank you so very much. The next game, we're going to look at the Florida Panthers taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, this game, I do think is going to come down to goaltending. We have Bobrovsky expected here for the Florida Panthers and Tristan Jarry for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, Jarry has been fantastic. He's had 6 shutouts on the season, and he's been playing absolutely phenomenal. And I think this has to be a lower scoring. So we've got another low scoring total of 5.5 in this one. Under is plus 104. Now, the only concern here is that overtime. I do believe it's a 3-2 game. So if we do get that goal to tie it up, we will go to OT. So I am looking at the under 5.5. I think it's a really solid way. I do think defense and goaltending come into play majorly in this one. If you're looking at a side, the Florida Panthers rolling in as the favorite at minus 142 and plus 116 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. These 2 teams are going to battle it out. Now, we have the Florida Panthers sitting 2nd in the Atlantic and the Pittsburgh Penguins sitting 7th in the Metro. But don't let that record really confuse you here because the Pittsburgh Penguins are better than their standings. I can't believe how solid Sidney Crosby has been playing. And you look at Malkin out here. This team is able to score those goals and find the back of the net. So I do think in this one, it is a goaltending battle. I think the goals come limited, but I'm not counting the Pittsburgh Penguins out of that win. And so 3-2 style game. You look at the Pittsburgh Penguins are 8-0 on the puck line in their last 8 as an underdog. So I do think they're going to keep it tight. Super tight game. Their defense has allowed 2.5 goals in the last 10. So their defense has come out phenomenally strong. And I do expect that defense to come out strong again in this one. Matthew Tkachuk has been very strong for the Florida Panthers. We know the captain really does lead this team. So I expect a lot out of both of these teams, but ultimately, I do think this one goes under 8-2 to the last 10 for the Pittsburgh Penguins to that under, and 6-3-1 for the Panthers to the under in their last 10. So the best bet of this one is grabbing that plus money on the under 5.5. And the only way I really do see this one being messed up is that that tied up goal if they pull their goalie here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I'm leaning on the Florida Panthers. I do think the Penguins have value at home here, but the Florida Panthers have been so phenomenally strong, and I do actually trust Bobrovsky more than Tristan Jarry. The last game on the board. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day, Doug. You guys are going with the under. I love that you guys are riding with the under as well. 3 5.5s, and I think they all go under 5.5 today. So I'm really believing that. The Minnesota Wild taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Now the Coyotes a dog at home, but this feels like a trap game, you guys. It was minus 120 earlier in the day from the Minnesota Wild. It's now dropped to minus 114. Money coming in on the Arizona Coyotes. They're now minus 105 here on the money line, and I think Arizona is the right way to go in this matchup. They've dominated over the Minnesota Wild, another total of 5.5 plus 110 to the under. I'm taking all three of these games to the under. So if you want to parlay the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Florida Panthers under 5.5 at plus 104, the Winnipeg Jets and the San Jose Sharks at minus 110, and the Arizona Coyotes at plus 110 to that under. If you want to parlay all three of those, that's coming in up plus 17. And I do think it's a great way to go. I don't see these being high scoring games here on a Wednesday night. I think we got lower scoring battles, but looking at the Arizona Coyotes minus 105, value in the home dog in this one. And it feels like they're begging us to take the Minnesota Wild. Now, Marc-Andre Fleury is in net, and this is his 1,001 game. He's coming off that huge game in the last game out. They were able to get the win over Vegas, which is a former team of his. I don't expect that high caliber of play here versus the Arizona Coyotes. Now, they got the Sabres at home on Saturday, so not like a true look-ahead situation, but enough of them finishing a road situation here. They've also been so inconsistent that I can't trust the Minnesota Wild right now. We look at the Arizona Coyotes, and this is a team that never gives up. For no matter how long they are out there on the ice. So they're home off a 2-game road trip. So, that's kind of a concern for me looking at teams home off a road trip. But they faced the Predators and the Flyers. And yes, they've been on this losing streak. But I do think that we can see the Arizona Coyotes bounce back here in Mullet Arena. I think fresh legs here at home, I think it will kind of rejuvenate this team. Now, if we're looking at goal scorers, Clayton Keller, I'm going to go to right away. Clayton Keller has been absolutely phenomenal on the season. 21 goals, 49 points, and 51 appearances. So he's been lights out there. And yes, they've lost their last 6, but I think they have every ability. This line just looks kind of fishy. So give me the Arizona Coyotes at minus 104. And if I'm looking at the total, I would lean to the under 5.5. I think if this goes a high-scoring game, the Minnesota Wild will be able to pull off that win, but I don't see it being an underscoring game. Just parlayed all 3 games under, and Winnipeg first period. Joe, I like the Winnipeg Jets first period. I think it's a really solid bet with you going there. Yeah, I lean on Arizona as well. Now, these games are going to come down to the wire because we know all of these teams have been absolutely competing out there. And I agree with you, Doug. If any of these teams in the underdog role are going to pull off the upset, it's the Pittsburgh Penguins here at home. They're so strong with Sidney Crosby leading the way that I do think they will be able to get things done. And yes, we have a major card on deck tomorrow. When we look at tomorrow's slate, Thursday, February 15th, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We've got 12 games on deck, including the Sharks on the second night of a back-to-back taking on the Calgary Flames. We also have the Detroit Red Wings after facing Edmonton and now going into Vancouver to take on the Vancouver Canucks. You guys have seen the additions Vancouver is making. Vancouver is poised to take the Stanley Cup. I tell you, if you didn't take them to take the division already, they were minus 125. It jumped to minus 140. With the new additions, this team is going to be a minus 160 favorite to take the Pacific. The Nashville Predators and the Dallas Stars. Pittsburgh plays the second night of a back-to-back. They will be in Chicago, and this is interesting. Connor Bedard is questionable to come back in tomorrow night's game. Pittsburgh Penguins are over a $2 favorite tomorrow on the slate. We also have Edmonton taking on St. Louis. They're getting back out there on the road. Huge favorites. The Anaheim Ducks taking on Ottawa. Tons of games in action tomorrow. The Florida Panthers will be on the second night of a back-to-back, taking on the Buffalo Sabres. So we'll see what they are able to do. They're pretty strong on the second night of a back-to-back, so I wouldn't question them at all. Kraken tomorrow defeating the Bruins. Jo, that is a big feat for the Kraken, rolling into Boston. Boston almost a $2 favorite, but if you do believe in it, plus 1.5. For the Seattle Kraken is getting value. This team 18-11 on the road on the puck line. So I would look at Seattle right now on the puck line before this line does move, because I do think people are going to come in on the Kraken at plus 300. Jo, I do agree with you. It is value. And the Sharks cover the puck line 50%. Yeah, the Sharks have been absolutely phenomenal on that puck line. So I would look at the Sharks on the puck line as soon as you get value with them. And I do like Arizona on the puck line, but I'm just not getting enough value with the Arizona Coyotes there. But I like them at Mullet Arena. I think at Mullet Arena, you've always got to look at Arizona as being a play. Now, when you're backing the underdogs, I really do believe in live betting these games, because Arizona and Montreal, even the Nashville Predators, these are teams that fight to the very end and love to be able to come back in these situations. So looking at these other teams, Minnesota has the ability to come out really strong to start these games, but they have allowed a lot to drop off in that second and third period. So looking at the Arizona Coyotes once they go down. Connor Ingram is a net, and Connor Ingram has been fantastic against the Minnesota Wild. Let's look and see if we got goalie props for Connor Ingram, because I would be looking at that in this matchup. Connor Ingram is coming in at 27.5 save shots on goal. So the last time he played the Minnesota Wild, he saved 38 shots on goal. He got the shutout win. 27.5 at minus 118. That's probably your best bet of the day. Looking at Connor Ingram to be able to come out nice and solid. We know the Minnesota Wild are able to pepper goaltenders. They're averaging 29.9 shots on goal per game, and the Arizona Coyotes giving up 31.9. I expect at least 36, 37 shots on Connor Ingram again. I do think 27.5, that number is just too low. So you guys, that is it for a Puck with Jo. Thank you so much for joining me. You got Arizona earlier in the day at plus 112, and I absolutely love that. You got the Sharks. Play Calgary tomorrow. I know. Let's see what Calgary can do in that one. DK has a special plus 100 deals for goals. Oh, I like that. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. For a goal in the first 10. Yeah, goal in the first 10 minutes between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Florida Panthers. While these teams are so strong defensively, when we look at two elite goaltenders and defenses that play solid, if there's a mistake, we normally see it pretty quick. So I do like the value, especially if they're giving you a plus 100 deal on that there. I think it would be a really solid way. But you guys, that was it for Puck with Jo. We will be back with 12 games tomorrow, so stay tuned. Also, make sure you go check out the SportsGrid app. You guys know where to find that at the Google Store and the Apple Store. Go download it today so you can follow your favorite hosts. Remember, this weekend I am live with Scott Wetzel on SportsGrid. We will be live from 8 p.m. Eastern to midnight on Saturday and from 2 to 6 on Sunday. So make sure you join us over there live betting all of these games. But catch me on SportsGrid and Game Time Decisions. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye now.